so that we can relax into being. Let's go of the idea that we are doing meditation here. So let's get rid of the idea of doing anything right now. Become comfortable with being. No next moment to look forward to or to fear. No past moment that you need to think about right now. So the now is enough for being. Awareness of being implies transcendence of thinking. Compulsive thinking. And if there are spaces in yourself right now where you're not thinking, then it's working for you and you're not doing anything. What's left of you when you don't remember your past and are not thinking about the future? Because the future is always something that you think about, never an actuality. So what's left of you when you don't remember the past? Don't refer to memory of the past. Don't think about the future, just this. Now what is left is the essence of who you are, but you can't call it anything really. The being, perhaps, the presence, the space, the consciousness. You can use all kinds of pointers. They're all just pointers. The light of consciousness. Becoming comfortable with that space in which there's no conceptual knowledge, just a presence, formless presence. Can't name it. The moment you name it, you give it form. It is who you are, beyond form. it is deeply fulfilling. There's a joy in being who you are beyond the form as which you appear. It's the joy of being. Very subtle at first. At first you may not notice it as joy, it's just a space, a spacious presence. It is being, in India called Sat. It is consciousness, in India called Chit, and it is joyful. The consciousness of being is joyful, Ananda. It's the Indian description of that state of realization of who you are. Underneath the form is Satchitananda, being, consciousness, bliss, one single realization, not three realizations, one realization. And then in the truest sense of the word, you are enjoying yourself. Not in the superficial sense when people say, go and enjoy yourself. Have a good time. This is different. You're not having a good time, you're having no time. You're enjoying yourself, regardless of your life circumstances right now. It's not your life situation, it has nothing to do with it. It's life itself. Something that may prevent you from dwelling in this beautiful realization and being consciously rooted in being, is the compulsion to think, even when it's not needed at all. When life would be more clear, more free, more enjoyable, more life without the interference of useless thinking. Now, in this world, in our culture, very few people as yet know about the possibility of not having to think all the time. When they speak of not thinking or no mind, the word is used mindless, it means you're falling below thinking, becoming unconscious. And here, we are going beyond thinking, or rising above thinking. A few thousand people in different parts of the planet at this moment transcending compulsive thinking. in a few thousand human beings at this moment a new consciousness is arising. Transcendence of thinking, presence, which is awareness of being, awareness of awareness, self-realization. And it's happening at this moment. Nothing to do really with the person, the different persons that are here on the planet, or this person, or that person. The person has made room for this to arise. The person has become transparent. The person being complete identification with thinking. An illusory identity, a form identity, short-lived form identity, me, the person. My personal past and my personal future, it's me. I have to think about that. And here, the person subsides. It loses its density because spaces are arising in between thoughts. In that space, the person is transcended, and something else flows through this form. The form becomes an opening for that. A little analogy. Let's say you are an actor on a cinema screen involved in the usual personal dilemma, various dilemmas that are part of being a person who is unaware of the transcendent dimension. If you're only a person unaware of the transcendent dimension, then your entire life is a dilemma. The dilemma takes on different forms, but it's always problematic, conflict-ridden. So let's say you're an actor on a film screen, acting out preconditioned roles according to the script in your mind, which is the conditioning of your mind. Of course, the only reality an actor or any figure or anything that happens on a cinema screen is the light that is shining through the film in the camera. And what is perceived as persons running around the screen, getting anxious about this and that, are really various ways in which the light is being obscured that's behind the film in the camera. So let's stick for a moment to this analogy. The various forms that you see on the screen are ways in which the light is being obscured. It's being obscured in different ways. So they're doing whatever they do. The only reality is the light. That is what gives it life, animates it. Now we're coming to the end of the analogy, but we're not quite there yet. Now the end of the analogy is, say, one or several of the figures on the screen are becoming aware of that light that makes up the essence of who they are. in the midst perhaps of acting out the drama or the short-lived happinesses followed by unhappiness. In the midst of all that, they're becoming aware that in essence they are that light. And the awareness is not a thought, it's a realization. And this realization comes because there's a moment of not thought, when they're stripped, the conditioning of their mind for a moment has parted, and spacious awareness is there, which is the light. And suddenly, they're no longer totally identified with the role they're playing. They're in touch with something that transcends the limitations of their role and their person. And they feel that light that they are, the light of consciousness, in the background of their being as a spacious stillness or awareness. And then they go about doing what they do. Perhaps for a while nothing much changes, the conditioned script still being acted out. But then they notice little changes happening. Even the script is changing because space is there in between the lines. And then the next line, suddenly there's something new in it. Suddenly they say something that they themselves didn't know before. Something new, fresh, alive. It doesn't conform to the script, the conditioning of their mind. And then perhaps where before they would have reacted to another character in the usual preconditioned way, suddenly instead of the reaction, there's a space, a non-reaction, and something totally different happens. So as they're becoming aware of their essential nature, even the way in which they deal with the world of form, in the way in which they are here as persons, changes. That's the end of our cinema analogy. So this is very much what's happening here. Awareness of the transcendent dimension. Without that, it's a little bit pointless to go on with just the limited, conditioned actor or actress. Just again, same thing being acted out, the same reactions, the same opinions and viewpoints and identification with mental positions and me and now, of course, the secret is to sustain that spacious awareness as much as possible in everyday life. Which means, even when you do things, here we are not doing anything, we're just going into being. Now what happens when you start doing again? Doing includes thinking. That's the primordial doing. start doing again, is there still an awareness of a background awareness, so to speak, of spaciousness, presence? You're doing here, but not completely lost in it. While you're doing, there's an awareness of being. What is that? Awareness of being. You're aware of yourself, the formless consciousness, aware